All right, I'm back, which means it's probably Monday morning, mid-morning. Did some running around this morning, um, ran some errands, did an estimate, and then blew a tire on my truck. So one of Bentley's home school lessons of the day was changing a tire on the side of the road. Thankfully, I had two of my stock wheels, a full-size jack, ratchet, breaker bar, sockets, everything right in the truck still from our trip to North Carolina. So it was a pretty easy roadside. I didn't have to mess around with the little dinky factory jack and tools and whatever. Trying to get the spare tire down, none of that. So crisis averted. I already ordered the tire. The tires are still new enough that I'm just going to throw, well, actually, I found a used tire with the same amount of tread on eBay. And ordered that. Should be here no later than the beginning of next week. So we'll have one oddball tire for a week, no big deal. We got a couple other rigs to drive. It's gonna be a really warm week, so if I gotta run for anything that'll fit in saddlebags or backpack, I got my bike. We're back in here on this Super Duty. The only thing I skipped that I didn't show you guys, because I figured you'd seen it 100 times, is I bed lined the rockers. Finished up that body work and bed lined the rockers. So that was the only thing I really skipped. The only thing you haven't seen, I'll show you how they came out. Now today's task is get these fenders swapped on. Being that it's already midday, if I get the fenders swapped on today, tomorrow we'll spray the silver on the bottom of them, spray the silver on the bottom of the cab corners, and then this truck will be done, barring a little seam seal and undercoat on the floors underneath. Yeah, so I'm going to jump in. I'm going to try to remember. It's been a minute since I've pulled one of these apart. I'm going to check out my headlights. I don't know if these ones have clips or bolt in, but I'm about to find out. Yeah, I'm going to pull the fenders, prop my hood, pull those struts, and or pull a strut. I'll probably just work one side at a time, obviously. Get the old fender off there and out of the way.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. Everything I do so instinctive and so passionate. Every word I move so descriptive like an adjective. I got a vendetta against people who patented being negative when you should be getting after it. I got facts over tracks, this and that. Spitting slow, spitting fast, I could roast, I could gas. Think I'm okay at last, but I don't know if that can erase all the past and the petty.
Well, there we have it. One fender is on. Minus putting the headlight back in. I'm going to go ahead and probably jump over and pull the other side apart. And then I'll put the headlight and wheel with, I'll put all of that back together, both sides. Put these badges on. I left the inner loose so that I can hold it down to tape this silver. I could put the headlight in, but I just figure I'll do that stuff all when I'm done painting. But there it is. One new, less rotted fender. Looks a little darker, but by the time I wiped this down, depending on what angle you stand it at, so I think these doors are all nasty, dingy, whatever. I'll get the silver on there. I'll give the doors a little buff, because the bed looks darker than the doors too. It's got a different bed, the hood's all faded, so I think the fenders are going to be as close as the fenders are going to be, but we will go pull the other side apart. All right, I'm ready to the other fender's on, and we got the lower section taped up, scuffed up, cab corner sanded out. You can't see it. Cab corner sanded out. Same on the other side. we're gonna dust a little color on these, and that'll be it for today. We'll get these 4 corners painted, and we will be headed off to baseball. So, not much going on today. I was gonna have Bentley do some welding today on his riding mower deck for part of homeschool and some, I guess, kind of a little tutorial on super common mowing decks breaking like these do. So I was going to show you what we were doing to fix that, but that should be tomorrow because today we got hung up changing a tire. So that was Bentley's homeschool lesson of the day, is changing a tire on the side of the road. Well, kind of side of the road. It was in the garage parking lot actually, but we blew a tire, limped it to the shop, changed it. But anyway, here we go. We're going to put a little color on here and get it painted up, cleared up. Let's see what it looks like when we're all done, and probably call it a day. All right, we are painted up and cleared up. Bit silver on the bottom. So we'll get that unmasked. Tomorrow we'll put the headlights in, the emblems on the fenders, stripe these, throw the seat back in on the driver's side, and I think this one's wrapped up. So, like I said, this is all we're doing in here tonight. I'm gonna have early dinner because we're gonna head out of here around 4:30 for baseball. So I'm gonna go throw some charcoal on the grill, get the grill going, and cook some kebabs, and I think Benno's gonna have some hot dogs. We're gonna head to baseball. Have a good night, YouTube. All right. Good Tuesday morning, YouTube. We are wrapping up the Super Duty. Seems like it's been in here forever because it's been partial days, and I don't normally take a whole weekend off, but I did. I took Saturday and Sunday off. So it seems like this project's kind of dragged. I haven't made videos. I didn't make videos Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I made one yesterday, but it was very, very short. So I'm just gonna combine it with today's. I'll get back in the rhythm. This truck just wasn't very interesting, I didn't think, for a lot of the parts of it in the beginning. Showing the process of welding in all the pieces and patching the floors and everything, that I thought was interesting, but you know, changing fenders and painting the bottom of a fender, I mean, it wasn't very interesting to me, but I will give you the quick walk around of what we've done. In case you didn't watch the other videos, I'll show you what we've done and what I have left to do. Yeah, gonna wrap this one up today. Bring that little Sportster in that I started working on. I got most of my parts in for it, so I can build my 2-into-1 air cleaner. I believe the bar bushings are here. Something else might be here, so I'm waiting on, I think the only thing I'm waiting on maybe is the pegs. And I gotta build a battery box, or a battery cover, and a hold down. So anyway, when this gets out, I'm gonna throw the bike in, finish that up, get that out of the way. Once I build the air cleaner, I can pull the carbs back off, clean that, clean the tank really well. The petcock, the little pickup screen, I think that's all shitted up. So get that stuff all cleaned up because we did have it run, but didn't run very well, and it would starve itself for fuel. So clean all that stuff up, clean the bike up, paint a few things, it'll be done. So I'm thinking the remainder of today that I'm not working on this, and tomorrow should wrap up the bike. And then I'm gonna pound out a quick little nothing project, a little SUV. And then we have a Jeep coming for a quick paint job. He's been on the list for a while, and I finally said, well, I'm gonna squeeze him in because stuff's dragging on. But then I will be finally to the point where I'm mostly caught up. I have one truck that's been dragging on. And then we're gonna pound out, wrapping up the Model A and the 55. So we'll finally see the light at the end of the tunnel of caught up and organized, because I'm already booking into July. So I need to start getting the stuff that's here caught back up. So be a good start on that. Fresh, fresh middle of next week, we'll start actually catching our breath and then go from there. So I'll give a quick walk around what we did on this and go from there. So for those of you who haven't been watching along or didn't catch or realize what was happening here, we have done both the inner and outer rocker. We've done cab corners. This side, we rebuilt all of this floor. We made a new section of floor and a plate here with a nut welded in for the seat belt. All this is patched in. So basically what we did with this is I welded in all the metal, fiberglassed my edges, and then when I seam sealed in here, I pretty much just gave the whole thing a smear of seam seal to seal it up. And when I bed lined the rocker, I just blew a little bed liner in over here, so it's all kind of sealed up. The only thing we have remaining with that project, aside from the obvious of putting the seat back in and all this sill plate and everything, is both sides. I just need to underneath seam seal everything and undercoat everything underneath, and cab will be done. Then we did new fenders. So that's what we did yesterday, was install the fenders, and we sprayed the silver on the cab corner and on the bottom of the fender, because the fenders were pre-painted. Well, I painted them, didn't buy them that way. The fender looks darker, and it actually looks worse on the camera. I can see that looking through the camera, but if you look at it in the right light, and if you look at spots, like I already rubbed this door a little bit, it's just as close as the bed, because the bed's different as well. So yeah, it's got a different bed on it already. We didn't do that. So really, I think at the end of the day, probably the doors are probably next on the list. So at that point, you could paint the doors and blend the cab corner and the fender. But it's on there, it's solid. Yeah, so this side here, we didn't have all the floor work. We just had inner, outer rocker and the cab corner. So we are going to wrap up by reinstalling the headlights, and reinstalling the emblems and the wheel well liner. So not a whole lot, but a lot at the same time. So I'm gonna get on it. All right, the camera's been on the charger, so I'm just gonna give you like middle of the way update. We got our interior sill plates back on. That was one thing I forgot I said I had to do, was I had to make the notches for this sill plate in that new floor piece. So that's all good, that's all in. We just got our badges cleaned up, retaped and stuck on. So now I'm gonna reinstall the headlights, throw the pinstripe on, and seam seal and clean up underneath with some undercoat. And I think it'll be start wiping her down, blowing her down, just about kicking it out of here, I believe. So I'll throw the headlights back in. materials and tools over on one bench, and tools from throwing this truck back together, and parts and pieces, and even a leaf blower and a weed whacker made its way in here for its springtime, going through, cleaning up, whatever. So there's just everything all over the place. It needs a good cleaning, good organizing. But it's gonna get just one more step above what it is right now, because I gotta drag that bike in. More parts came for the bike today. So I'm hoping the rest of the parts are in by tomorrow. So I'm gonna get it in here, get going, start building that 2-into-1 intake or air cleaner setup, and start puttering on that to finish out the day. And I'll pick up pieces here and there as I trip over stuff, but we'll go ahead and get that bike in here. The Super Duty is done and it's outside. Probably gonna give it one more wipe down and it's gonna go bye-byes. All right, so quick rundown of one little quick project we're doing on this bike. If you hadn't seen before or heard me talk about it, this thing has dual Mikuni carburetors. There wasn't a whole lot of good options to run air cleaners and not hit your leg. They had like a aluminum box on here with 2 holes. They had a bracket off here, bracket off there, and had some filters inside, or basically steel wool and screens and whatever. So what we're going to do is I'm going to take, believe it or not, you're going to look at these pieces here, and these pieces are actually a dual Mikuni Sportster intake kit. Bought it at Walmart. This piece of pipe, this air cleaner. And I'm just kidding. It's not a kit, for those of you who actually believed that that was a thing. This is just a Mandrel 2 1/4 U-bent pipe. I'm gonna pick where I like it. I'm gonna chop it off here. This piece of pipe fits on here perfectly. Haven't decided how I'm gonna clamp that yet. I'm thinking that the best thing to do would be to drill through the pipe and into the carburetor and tap the carburetor and do like a couple of machine screws on each one, and then it's actually bolted to the carburetors. That seems like the best way to do it, but then if you ever change it to the carbs, you'd have to re-drill and tap. But the bike's so much of a one-off, mutt, I guess you'd say, that I don't think that's really the end of the world or the worst case scenario on this build. So I'm thinking that's going to be okay, because any sort of a clamping system would be kind of gaudy. The only thing would be maybe to run a bracket off of it from here to the head and from here to the head, and then have had bolts. If I came off from here with a bracket, off here with a bracket, that'd be bolts holding it into the motor. But then you get a bunch of brackets, and there's already so much going on right here, and you have this big filter sitting here, and there's a whole lot going on to then throw a couple brackets in the mix. But we'll see. The biggest thing is going to be making this fit the 2 carbs and come together as one. And then if I like where it comes together right here, cool. If not, I'll do something to turn it over and get it tucked into here more. But for the time being, I gotta do some math and guessing and make our first slice here and see what we think. then some sanding and a little bit of paint. Long ways to go for such a small part, but we're taking shape. I'm liking where it's headed. So, a long ways from finished, but a long ways from the start. If that makes any sense. Really didn't take much to get it in line where we wanted anyway. Probably only been on it for, well, less than an hour now. But we'll probably have, 3-4 hours into it anyway by the time we're all said and done. So it's funny how such a small part can take up so much time, and then people wonder why stuff costs so much money. But yeah, so I think making the best of a bad situation here, the two Mikunis and the funny air cleaner setup. So we're gonna wind up with something like that there, a little cone filter hanging out there, feeding those 2 carbs. 2 carbs means 2 carbs worth of air, so that ought to get it done. We'll wind up looking something like that. Bring you in for a closer look here. So now what I'll do is I'll do another bead down through here, another bead if necessary, to start tapering this size pipe here down to this size and get this corner shaping up nice. And then anywhere you see these little dark spots, that's low. So I'll build that with weld and grind and sand and file. Got some work to do down in there. The welder was spitting and popping. It didn't like being down in the hole there. So got a little bit of grinding to do down in there. And then, this here will go on there and get clamped on, and that's what you got. Kind of a big air cleaner and carb setup for such a small motor and small bike, but like I said, making the best of a bad situation. That's the carb setup that's on here, and that's how you get an air cleaner to run 2 carbs like that in that amount of space. I think we got it as compact as we could. So, like I said, more welding, more grinding, more welding, more grinding, and repeat. But we'll get that all cleaned up. The bar bushings did come today, so we can get those swapped in. The pegs should be here today or tomorrow. I think, probably tomorrow. So I'll get the pegs on there, and then stuff will start really wrapping up. We're gonna make a cover for this battery because odd size box and battery, and wasn't easy to come by a good looking cover. So I'm just gonna make one and paint it black and black out things like the kickstand and the brake lever. And yes, I did say brake lever. This is an old Sportster. Brake lever, shifter. But there we go. We're piecing it together. It did start and run again when I rolled it in here, so we know we're on the downhill side of that battle. I still am going to pull the tank or at least pull I'll pull the tank, clean out that screen on the petcock. It's already got a new filter, and I may just clean the carbs one more time because I didn't take them off. If you guys remember, I just dropped the bowls and freed up the seat on the needles and got the floats working, so it let some fuel in. And I think if I do that and a little bit more one more time, we'll have her running good. All right, so it is, 10 o'clock. And with Bentley riding around a lot more with the kids in the neighborhood, and they ride to the ball field and do whatever. Seems like a lot of times they ride there and then need a ride home. My Duramax is pretty much now useless as a truck because it's got a tonneau cover that's a tri-fold. By the time you fold that up, and then you're still tangling bikes in there, and I usually have stuff in the bed, hence I have the tonneau cover. We have the blue truck, but who knows when that's broke or not broke because I'm still tinkering on it. So I wanted to be able to haul the bikes with Samantha's Suburban. So we went and grabbed a little 4-bike hitch bike carrier that needs just a little bit of assembly, and I'm anxious to see what it's like, so I'm just going to throw it together really quick, and that'll wrap up today's video. And like I said, we had video from Monday that wasn't really long enough yesterday, so I'm just going to throw that and today's work and tonight's work all in one video, and we'll finally be caught back up with making videos. As you can see, I rolled the Sportster up because I pulled the blue truck in, did a couple things. I just pulled my bike in just now because tomorrow while I'm working on the Sportster, I want to just kind of give this a wipe down, clean down, maybe decide on a color and what I'm going to do to it, and mess around with the alignment of my bags and fenders and stuff. Just kind of jump back and forth as if I'm welding something and it's cooling, or painting something and it's drying, or whatever. Tomorrow will be a bike day. So, that being said, I'm going to throw the 2-3 bolts in there. I think Bentley might come out and help me in a minute, and see what this whole bike carrier rack thing's all about. Bentley, what you doing?
Tightening this, the new bike rack.
So we got it assembled and got it together. Now you're tightening her up.
Yep.
Is it going in that hard?
Yeah, I don't know. It's mostly me trying to tighten it, and
I'll go grab a little fluid foam.
but I got a good go on now.
Here.
It's mostly me slipping.
Did I even get that? Oh no. Oh yeah. Yep. Go for it, dude.
Going for it. Where are you? That smells weird. Oh, see, it's mostly me slipping. What the heck, Bentley?
Here, can I just make sure it's not like too hard?
Yeah, it's not. It's just taking forever. I keep slipping. I don't get why they wouldn't just make that head size instead of making that plastic piece.
It's so it doesn't vibrate and stuff. Hey, look.
Yeah?
A bolt you left laying in the driveway.
What's fell out of the...
Probably what popped my Duramax tire is bolts you leave laying in the driveway. I picked one up earlier too.
They must fall out of the trailer thing of the mower when I was going out back spraying.
You have that pin, right?
Yep.
Where is it?
Right here. In my hand.
Alright. So I gotta be able to get this tight, but also stop when you can get that pin lined up. one more turn.
A little bit more.
Can you get that?
Yeah. And look, I can just twist
That
it.
doesn't rattle. We don't need to strap your bike right now, but here.
Whoa. I forgot that was it. I mean, I guess I can
What?
just strap it because might as well while it's on here. You know what I mean?
But you're probably gonna ride it tomorrow, aren't you?
Probably. Probably when it comes.
So you guys are probably gonna ride bikes. I mean, more than likely, right?
See, this one doesn't. The other bike has, what you call it?
What?
Rotor brakes.
Wow.
Whoa.
I said you didn't have to do this, and then I was doing it anyway, just because I wanted to see
These are like street tires.
how the strap worked. I
Because
just,
of how bald I wear them out.
I just did it, and now I don't remember how I did it.
You put it through, and then you...
Oh yeah, it goes under the first part.
I'm gonna look back and my wheels just gonna be going.
Yeah, they will. It goes like that.
And then
I do
you'll
believe.
see, like... But usually there's some, like... Well, or just use a strap. But you can buy, like, stuff just for handlebars.
Oh yeah.
That goes, like, right there so it doesn't rub and, like...
But for now,
That looks pretty good.
first run, well, it works.
Yep.
Sweet. All right.
And if I ever want to, just quick release.
Success. Right?
Yep.
Good deal. All right. We're gonna call it a night, Benno.
Yep.
All right. Well, good night, YouTube.
That's pretty successful.
Yeah.